So our opponent stated that prostitution is not an actual job and that there is a lack of choice when it comes to prostitution. Well, what she's really referring to is sex trafficking, because sex trafficking is actually what leads to exploitation. According to the according to the organization Forced Labor, and in their article, Child Labor and Human Trafficking in Europe, the key elements of a trafficking relationship are the threat or use of force or other forms of coercion, abduction, fraud, deception, or abuse of power. Trafficking implies an absence of such consent during at least some stage of the trafficking cycle. So in trafficking, this is where people often, where pimps often tell their prostitutes that they cannot leave for certain reasons, through like blackmail and through threats and stuff. Prostitutes would have a choice to leave if we were to legalize it, because if we were to legalize it, it would also be seen as just another regular job. If you were to apply to, like for example, Target, and you wanted to leave your job, you could just say that I quit. With prostitution, since it's illegal, when prostitutes say that they want to quit, they tell the pimp, and their pimp threatens them with violence or other forms of blackmail that they cannot leave, and which is why legalizing it would lead to prostitutes being allowed to leave their profession. Legal prostitutes in other countries are also rarely exploited. According to the Telegraph, the sex workers will tell us there is a girl being pimped and she's had her passport taken, and that information gets to us quickly and we're able to act. And this is when they interviewed some of the police that were in London. This just goes to show that legal prostitutes can assist law enforcement in identifying traffic victims and apprehending trafficking businesses. According to Ruth Jacobs, without the fear of being arrested for prostitution, sex workers can be an asset to the anti-trafficking movement. Current sex workers have an inside view of the sex industry, and once trained to identify individuals who are trafficked, they can be our biggest ally in reporting trafficking and assisting individuals who want to escape the traffickers. Our opponents also stated that there's still a lot of violence even though that there is legalization, and they also referred to there being panic buttons in certain brothels in a certain country. Panic buttons are exactly why we should legalize it, because currently without legalization, there aren't any way of knowing that these people are getting raped or being abused. And they also stated that underground prostitution would continue to thrive regardless of legalization, but underground prostitution is always an inevitable problem. So according to Nicholas Covington, prostitution will always exist no matter what. We've been trying to stamp it out for centuries and have failed. So the question we have to ask, since prostitution will never cease its existence, do we want prostitution to exist legally or illegally? And the answer is legally, because with legal prostitution we can regulate it, and we can also catch the criminals that are harassing and abusing prostitutes.